G'day mates, us Aussies, Kiwis, Canucks, Americans, whoever's watching. Oh, and all my friends that you know, my actual people I know here that watch me too. Hello. So they've let me back on the YouTube. Had a week-long ban, which apparently was like 10 and a half days. Apparently in I guess in the post-French Revolution land, the week's 10 days, and that makes perfect sense. Anyway, some of you will understand that joke or reference. So they've let me back on. What I did was I didn't even hold. Twice I've been banned for a week, and each time it wasn't even me speaking in the video. I wasn't even in the video. That's what's crazy. And I do this as like a test, right? I'm like, let me see. If you want to go watch the video that got me knocked off YouTube, it's on my Rumble thing. It's called Matt the Mechanic. You can find it. I have 3 followers, because just make your own YouTube, because that really works. But yeah, I was playing a record, and it wasn't for the music, I don't think. It was, I panned over, and there was a flyer. There was a, you know, it spread medical misinformation. So that's what happened. So every time I talk about it, I get angry, but I'm not going to go over that. If you want to go see the video I made, it's on Rumble. It's called Too Hot for YouTube on Matt the Mechanic's channel. But the subject that it brings up is YouTube has the robots very well trained, let's say, and as far as a robot reading words on a piece of paper and then determining if those, you know, the robot doesn't understand. Well, that's a flyer that was made kind of like in a satirical manner, kind of as like a troll, you know, and there's like humor involved and there's nuance, and the machines I don't think know that. So we have to be very careful. All the content creators that I watch that are actually like big people that actually like promote their shit and have followers, they're like, yeah, I've got to go to Patreon, which, I mean, I've heard Patreon's bullshit too. I don't know where to go. But in 10 days, the world has changed a lot. It's crazy how the news cycle is so intense, and we're gaining ground against the New World Order so fast that, like, if you're out of the game for 10 days, it's like you may as well took the season off, you know? You may as well skip a year of college. Kind of feel like that too. I'm like, man, do I even want to fuck with this anymore? Because that's like I have this internal dilemma in my head. It's like, nobody's gonna watch another platform because YouTube's already on their phone. And at least for my generation and anybody older than me, that's probably what the deal is. It's like, man, yeah, I know that. Like, if you tell somebody, go to blah blah blah.com and type in what you want to watch, they're like, man, fuck you. I want my phone to show it to me while I'm pooping. So YouTube's where you're gonna have to be. And that's pretty much where, like, Tim Pool and all the other content creators that I respect, their position is like, yeah, I hear your principled moral argument, and I agree with it. But if you just operated in this space based on principles, you'd just be yelling out your window. That would be your show, your media outlet would be like, well, you could have free speech, you're gonna have to just go to your own private property and do it. You can yell out your window what your opinions are, and that we can't censor that. Okay, for now. But anyway, I spoke with the Aussie Cause Act briefly. Finally determined what communication medium works for him. I'm not gonna tell y'all what it is, but we're gonna try if he can, you know, get some time from trying to save the world. I wanted to talk to him and collaborate and give the American perspective, you know, because I'm not a content creator. Like, I don't want to be. I had that choice in my life, and I didn't take it many years ago. If I'd have stuck with what we were doing, I mean, we may have even predated, who's the fucking VJ or whatever his name is that's credited as like the Podfather. I can't even remember his name. We were doing like that in like 06, 05-ish, you know, where you do like an internet pre-recorded thing and it's on a stream. We called it internet radio. But anyway, when Obama came around, I just was like, dude, this is too intense. It's too much culture war. Like, my whole focus was the Constitution. Clearly all this is a violation of the Constitution. All we need to do is, where's my Constitution? All we need to do is just go show people, hey, like, pertaining to the election, well, 12th Amendment explains what should happen, but I didn't realize, you know, when they put Barack Obama in power, that everyone was just gonna like fall dead limp politically, like, oh, he's black, so there's no point in fighting. So I said, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna stop doing the radio show thing and go to work. So for 10 years or 15 years or so, that's what I do. And then here we are now where it's like, I want to fight these bastards, but I like my anonymity. I'm not trying to be famous. It is nice to be able to just operate without people fucking with you. But I want to collaborate with the Aussie Cossack because I like his style, because he gets the humor, you know, he understands symbolism very well. I want to help him. The whole purpose of my dealing with YouTube was to try to reach out. I mean, I had my little channel before. I gotta spend another $189 million on fuel here real quick. I had my channel before, you know, but it was just like every couple of years I'd post something. But now, you know, I'm in this arc here where like I really picked up my interest in YouTube because it's like, we gotta figure out how to help these Aussies because nobody's fucking helping them. And I'm just watching them being like brutalized in the fucking streets. And we're to the point where, you know, that arc is coming down. So I'm like, well, YouTube is so strict that I can't even, it's like, you watch me, you think I'm like drunk or something, but it's like all the thoughts in my head I know can't come out of my mouth. And like being speechless, man, you motherfuckers are lifting my credit card number. Being speechless is like not typically a thing for me. But when it's like, you can't even use words and concepts, like that makes it hard. But I'm gonna try to figure out a way to utilize this platform. It usually happens when I'm hanging out playing records at the house and I'm drinking and I'm like, I'm gonna show a picture of this and then I'm gonna sneak in a subliminal message, but the machines see all that shit. Hold on, I'm gonna go spend $200 on fuel real quick. So, when you use the big boy like 18-wheeler nozzle, you gotta turn the motherfucker upside down because it flows so fast that it'll trip out the pump. So anyway, the last dude here had like $320 for like 64 gallons. It's pretty sad. So the machines see words. The machines don't, but they don't understand context or nuance or humor, or that they don't have any humanity programmed into them, so they can't like make a moral judgment and see that like, this guy's not hurting people, harming people, what he's saying. He's pointing out shit's fucked up. So we got to go elsewhere to do that, at least to an extent. It just bothers me that I can't pretty much use my style of humor or subliminally putting points across, because the machines see that and they can't make moral judgments. But anyway, I want to do a deal with the Aussie Cossack. We got to come up with some kind of excuse to shoot the AK. You know, we did a Aussie Cossack, you know, what was it, like a 10-round salute or whatever. I think I was shooting at the Ford Explorer. You know, did one with the SKS. You know, just to like make little hype videos, because I know he likes, oh man, it's slowing us down. It's gonna kill us at 150, and that doesn't even fill the fucking truck up. Who doesn't like a good Kalashnikov, you know? I was fortunate enough to snag one back when they were plentiful and like under $400, dude. New. We're gonna do some kind of collaboration with the Aussie Cossack. You know, I know he's like a serious political person. I'm just like a blue-collar person dabbling in what little spare time I have. But I've been following the New World Order for more than, like, since I was 13, you know. Campaigned for Ron Paul. I hosted a radio show on Danny Romero's network on Ron Paul Revolution Radio back in the day too, when Ron Paul was running. $150. I have not been able to fill the truck up at any one place ever. I don't know why, because if you fill up an 18-wheeler, it's taking way more than 30 gallons. So I don't know what the problem is. Might be my card, but it's a sign of shit being stupid. Yeah, I could fit another 100. Let's see. They've got this at $4.95. Holds 35. Those are stupid. So, anyway, that's about it. You know, I've made so many videos in the interim, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to post that. I don't want to put that up. Because some of it's because, like, I'm debating, like, do I stand on principle and just nuke my channel by, like, I don't know, saying, hey, a doctor told me this and it seems to be working from what I can see anecdotally in real life, you know, can't do that. I don't know. I am really into this, and no one else wants to follow this. Like, I don't know it by heart. I have it with, and I know enough about it to know, like, well, refer to it because it's important. I'm behind it. I mean, I'm into this as on the principle of it, but I don't have it committed to memory. But that's why I have a copy of it that I got from who gave me this? Mike Hansen gave me this one. Mike Hansen is Alex Jones's old camera guy from back in the 90s, who's finally, it's been this thing to, like, we got to get a hold of Mike Hansen's archives forever, because that's where all the old school Alex Jones VHS and tapes that, you know, he recorded are, like his raw footage. So a bunch of that's been coming around lately, so that's cool. But yeah, he gave me this, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna keep that. I had one before that I got from Michael Badnarik, who was this dude who was running for office back in the day. But I'm into that, and I never was able to come up with, like, how we convince other people that that's okay to do, because it's supposed to be ingrained in your mind that that's the base code. The Constitution of the United States is the base code, and if something doesn't jive with it, then we can't do it. Like the lockdowns would have pertained to that. If we really made all of our decisions about that based on if it fit into that shit, which would be like the First Amendment would have covered not shutting people's churches and every other thing that we've been trying to do. But I never really understood how to convince people that if we didn't follow that, we were going to end up with a totalitarian, abusive world government. Well, fuck, now we have one forming openly. So in a fucked up way, it gives me hope, because maybe now that people have lived through this hellscape for 2.5 years of, like, how the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab and all his little minions operate, now they can see it. So hopefully we can all unite against it. But yeah, I am back on YouTube. I'm going to try to, I don't know if you saw, I made a couple short videos of different old car stereos I have in my various vehicles. And you can hear what's playing on the radio, and those haven't been nuked. So it's very weird. Like, I'm still trying to learn what will get your shit shut down and what's okay. Because, like, I can post a photo of some words that'll get me shut down because they don't go along with whatever the World Health Organization is currently saying. Even if I'm showing something from years ago, I don't know. But I can put my phone on record and play you 30 minutes of the Alex Jones show where he's talking about all kinds of wild shit, and that's cool. So I don't know. But I'm not going to give up on YouTube, but I'm going to guess, like everybody else is doing, go hang out in these abandoned, remember when Matt Drudge went on Alex Jones' show several years ago, and he said all this conservative media and all of us being able to have an equal voice is going away. They're going to shut it all down, and they're going to herd us into these digital ghettos, was the term he used. And that's Parler, Gab, every other alternative to Twitter that Elon Musk just bought. Those are the digital ghettos. So we'll see how it happens now that we've been essentially allowed to go back into town. So if you think about it, it's basically what it is. People that have our ideas have not been allowed to freely express them openly around where anybody can see them. And it almost makes me wonder if the left ended up in this scenario where they lost control of Twitter because they're busy just echo chambering in each other's ear, and they didn't realize, hey, the right is starting to recognize the threat, if you want to call it the right. It's just the people that aren't part of the globalist American empire and the New World Order and the thing. I don't even want to talk about him. That'll probably get you banned too. But they fail to realize that, hey, the other side is starting to wake up, realize what has happened, and enough people with enough capital to fight them have realized that it's a serious threat to their own fucking existence, like Elon Musk. And I guess Jeremy Boring of the Daily Wire, like they're like putting out culture and trying to re-seize control of. I mean, it'd be the equivalent of if you were in the 1980s and you had the communists were in control of all of the radio stations and TV stations, and then your Radio Free America operation where you're broadcasting into their territory, illegal pirating into their territory isn't working. So then we go and actually seize physical control of the TV station. Seize physical control of the radio station because, our little 50, this is all purely an analogy, our little 50-watt Chinese transmitters that we bought off Amazon that you could backpack in and set up an antenna to broadcast people on the FM radio dial. Enough people aren't watching, then listen to that, so we got to go take over the 50,000 watt stations in downtown. You know what I'm saying? That's Elon Musk coming in and saying, I've got enough money to burn to steal your it'd be like if you went to the Nazis and you were like, someone's gonna offer you so much money that you're just gonna let us take over your communications and start letting the Jews talk. And I'm not saying that this is anything like that. I'm just saying it's so amazing to me that amount of money you could buy off somebody. Like, Twitter is their massive bullhorn, and they get all their power from controlling the narrative through using that. And you were still able to walk in with enough money and just buy it. That's America, motherfucker.